Hello everyone, how you doing? Thank you for popping by as always. I hope things are going well for you in Chuckle Buttock Land. I do apologise that a couple of days ago I got a bit over irate, didn't I? I put out my ranty vid and I thought, oh, I shouldn't. But so many of you were supportive and also felt upset on the subject. I try not to be offensive and use certain words because there's no point in alienating people. There's no point in offending people because everyone coming here, everyone's got different sensibilities. I don't want to stretch it too far, but that got to me, as you could tell. But there you go. Well, here's something on a bit of a lighter note. XJW read it. Someone asked this great question, and I thought, I bet some of you will have some answers to this. They've asked, have you ever seen someone raise their hand at the Watchtower study and disagree? Whoa, well, I didn't quite see anyone disagree, but I've seen some funny versions. And I bet you have. So people are saying, some are saying, of course, no. There's a great one here about the Circuit Overseer Week, and people asking people to raise their hands, of course, for raise their hands for the expenses claim. So you just had to raise your hand, didn't you? So anyone against? And this brother, they say, forcefully raised his hand. And he says, he said words to the effect, I think those expenses are too much. He doesn't have to work for a living like the rest of us. Oh, he says stunned by this. I actually misread that in my head and thought shunned by this. Well, they're saying this poor chap, he was blacklisted for life. My hero. You see lots of markups for that. In our Kong was an older brother who voted against a lot and always wanted to discuss the resolutions. Why not? On resolutions, one time when we had to agree for a temporary place for meetings, the outcome was not what the PO wanted. He let the Kong vote again. Oh, they're going to choke me to death with laughing. 3 times in the weeks after that. Until the majority was in favour of the place of his choice. Well, UK elections are getting a lot like that at the moment. If the nation doesn't vote how the government or whoever wants, then they just want to keep voting until you all get bored and do what they ask for. Brexit was like that after Brexit went the wrong way for the government, and people calling, well, let's vote again. Let's do another vote on it. Oh dear. Ah, dear. It's on about a woman who spoke up about the shunning policy. Good for her. The paragraph was saying it was loving to not have any contact with disfellowship ones, and she said that she thought Jesus taught to be loving and that we should be embracing toward these ones so they could return, and concluded by saying, so I kind of have a different opinion about this one. Good for her. It says the hall was so quiet you could have heard a pin drop. And isn't that a terrible thing, that just saying something so obvious becomes radical? There's a Doctor Who fan here. Time Lord from Gallifrey. Hey, takes all sorts to be an XJW. They say, I think this is the reason why, or their reason why they cancelled the smaller book study groups more than any other reason. The smaller groups and less formal atmosphere allowed for more deviations and free thinking. That's true. I remember when studying, and we were studying something about old preaching techniques. And I didn't understand why they changed. I was like, why this and why that? So, and I don't think I was that popular with that. But someone else responds, ultimately it was the pedo problem and intellectual exchange. Ew. They knew this is where predators had easiest access, but also wanted to go another round of dumbing down. The topic was higher education. A sister raised her hand and pretty much disagreed with what the conductor said about it. He replied back from the stage, can't remember what, but I remember he tried to dismiss it and move on. The sister stood at the mic, yes, and she said, well, I called Bethel and they agreed with me. And someone says, well, they remember someone disagreeing, and it was themselves, and they got up and went home. So of course everyone said, oh, come on, you've got to tell us. So they said, good 10 years ago, but I was going through a particularly bad time and had lost someone close to me, so obviously a bit more volatile, and something that was said completely disagreed with me on a base level, so I answered the question and poked holes in everything. Couldn't honestly tell you exactly what it was about, but I remember ending it with, and that is why I think this is a load of you all, I'm going home, and left. Someone said, how did you get home with those big roundy things? The funny thing is, they'd never been to my home since. And plus side for me is my family gave up on the cult shortly after I did. Wow. So a musician kid says, we did have a family who were pretty odd in comparison with others in the hall. Their father refused to stand during the songs or prayer. Maybe he had bad legs. He wore a beard, and when his son was old enough, he too grew a beard. When their daughter was old enough, did she grow a beard? I'd like to see the baby with a beard as well. That would have been fun. They were extremely into the Bible. It was actually kind of neat thinking back. A willful, ongoing, silent protest of things that are beyond silly about the Borg. Also, in my hall growing up, a brother was giving a number 4 talk in the B school. He said, and I actually quote, Bill Clinton claims he never inhaled marijuana as a young person. When I was young, that's all I did. This hypocrite pisses me off. Someone says that they recalled the conductor commenting about how everyone hates their jobs and how nice it will be not to work in the new system. A sister commented, actually, I love my job. I'd do it even in the new system if I could. Not anything major, I know, but it was interesting and had a few heads turning. Well, I'd be the same. I'd love to keep doing my job. Whatever. There's a good few jobs like that. I suppose the really bad thing would be if, in this system, in quotes, you were a gardener and you hated it. And then you get to the new one, yeah, we know. Or what about if, let's see, what if, you worked at a zoo clearing up animal poo? Yeah, and you hated it. New system. Going to be a lot of that. With so many things, of jobs you could hate doing and still have to do them. Yeah. You Be Happy says, a Bible study asking how it was okay for Jacob to lie to his blind father. Do you know, I forgot. I'll have to look that up. I've forgotten that bit. You could say some terrible lies to your blind father. Blind friend of mine, his daughters would get up to all sorts, but he kept up with it. But they got to a certain age and thought, we can have some fun here. Brother Elder defending and saying, because Jehovah blessed Jacob, it must not have been a lie. Now we know where Watchtower gets their inspiration from. Bible study disagreeing. Good. And saying that it was lying. Good for that Bible study. It was a few months before I saw the truth about the truth, but this made a crack in my belief. Wow. I realised it was a lie, and if Jehovah was okay with that, something was wrong. Well, so what are your memories of things? I know because I couldn't speak up in the hall. It was just like, no. I've said before, it was just too embarrassing. But so I tried to speak up at the book studies in someone's house, and I never got this thing that you were just supposed to say the words back to the thing you've just read, and I'd want to say something more fulsome. So I remember what it was the first time I plucked up courage to answer something, and I went off somewhere else. It was relevant to it, but I thought, oh, I'll expand upon it, and everyone was just rolling around laughing. And I thought, well, what's funny about that? And it was like, oh. It's like, why was that funny? Just because I said something that wasn't in the paragraph. Like, little did I know. And I still didn't really get it till I started seeing all your posts and things. Duh. And then there was a great one of a friend of mine started coming along to those book studies. I mean, he might have come a couple of times to the hall. He was someone who used to like to investigate things and stuff. So he came along to the book studies, and he was looking, and he was very deeply, intensely looking. And the conductor said, now here's a question for the kids. And there were a few very cute kids in, you see. And the kids were like, oh. Now, children, what job did Paul do previously, you see? And the kids were and then they were like, oh, and the hands were up, oh, kids go, oh, I'm still like that now, but it's, oh, and the hands are up, and the stretching, and so the study conductor thought he was like kind of, spread it out a little bit, spread the suspense. Well, my friend had not kept up with this at all, what was going on. He was looking at his book, and suddenly, before any kid could answer, you heard this deep male voice say, tent maker, and the kids went, oh. Anyway, please tell me that you guys said some naughty answers. Please entertain me. Thanks for your time. Bye.